All childer should learn from their sire the law and the traditions, the rites and the customs, as I have given them to you. Hello, and welcome to the Valley by Night, here on the Dire Bear Adventuring Company. Excuse me, that was unprofessional.
Great start.
Oh yeah, great.
I'm about to sneeze right as we start.
It's like I needed to clear my throat as soon as I hit the button. It's like, Anyway, welcome to Dire Bear. It's Tuesday night, so it's our Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition chronicle. I'll be your storyteller for the evening, Jason, from over at the Nerd Eternal Network. And with me, as usual, will be... Let's see if I can remember everybody's names. Sarah playing Jolene. Decca playing Blackjack. Rap playing Maeve. Crap, I almost had it. Duba playing Alexander.
Getting food.
And Eric playing Samuel. Now, when we left off last week, let's see. Last week, Jolene killed a poor baby rabbit.
It was probably a full-grown rabbit if she made a meal of it.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. She killed a poor bunny. Maeve killed a poor dude. Let's see.
Blackjack happily suckled on his cow.
Why you gotta use the word suckle? That just makes it even weirder.
Is this going to be the word of the campaign? Is this your undulate?
No. That was...
God, I hope not.
Anyway, let's see. I want to say y'all met up fairly quickly after, well, it took a little time you hunted. Oh, the ones that needed to. You met up at Samuel's. Using one of his disciplines, he got a vision of the killer going in a target. Before you could leave, there was a knock at the door, and Theodore, the Nosferatu whip, showed up with an out-of-towner that he wanted to introduce you to. Mother Dorcas who was the Primogen, was hoping that you could take in Alexander. He had lived in Meridianville, which is a little community north of Huntsville, where he'd been in for several years, but the lupines were getting a little thick up there, and he decided to retreat to the safety of a larger city. So she was essentially loaning him to you on kind of a trial basis, and if it worked out, perhaps he could join your coterie. The haven that had been arranged for him is within your domain. So it would just be, very tidy if that just all clicked together. And he proved himself useful as y'all left to track down the killer. Let's see. Samuel hunted and fed on a teenage girl behind the theater. No particular harm was done. Jolene interacted with the killer in the target. Though as he was leaving or checking out, he noticed her paying too much attention to him. And when he left, he appeared to have changed ethnicities.
Cool trick.
It is. It is a cool trick. Let's see. Samuel spotted him changing back in the car as he was driving away. Ah, yes, and y'all had bugged his car, basically, with one of the bloodstones that Samuel had created. How long did those bloodstones last, by the way? You're muted.
I realize this as I look down. A week.
Okay. So you can still feel all three of them right now.
Yep.
You tracked him back to a abandoned house he was staying in. Rather than run in yourselves and try to apprehend him, you called in reinforcements. Several of the sheriff's deputies showed up, as well as the prince's scourge. And you busted into the house and took him down pretty easy. I think, did he actually get a lick in on anybody?
He certainly tried.
Garage
Yeah.
door.
Yeah.
Yes.
Garage door.
Garage door.
I mean, if
Garage
that
door is the
counts.
second most dangerous
So I want to say, was it...
character.
I want to say Blackjack and Maeve both ran in and began pummeling.
Yeah, like, Blackjack basically lariated him into the garage door. Maeve just hit him in the solar plexus just about. He clawed the garage door. Joliene's
Jolene
sitting there
tried her
going,
best.
With the
garage door,
stake.
stab!
Hey, she pulled it down.
I mean, yeah, she did. She
That
kept him
was the
from
clutch
running.
thing that, yeah.
Yeah.
She definitely
Although-
contributed. She definitely contributed.
Although I literally would have shoulder checked that car if it came to it.
And then I believe the Scourge actually walked up and staked him, as y'all had him more or
Yeah.
less pinned down.
Yeah.
I just watched the VOD yesterday. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah, Samuel dominated him to make him lay down.
So
Man,
very little
one
fuss,
more-
very little muss. A repair crew was quickly sent out to replace the garage door. You know, all the broken locks and kicked in doors were just left like they were, because no masquerade violation there. Somebody just broke into the house.
Mhm.
The claw marks on the door would have been a little suspicious,
Yeah.
so they replaced that. All right. So we move on to the next night. Because you were told they were going, the deputies were going to take this killer to the prince. There'd be some questioning. You knew there'd be a trial. Might not be quite the right word, but
Public.
there would be a meeting at Elysium to decide his fate.
Rouse checks.
Yes, as you wake up, it is Thursday evening, January 17th,
Yes.
2019, for anybody that hasn't watched the previous ones.
Ooh, I'm still good. I'm at 2 hunger.
Okay.
I am at Samuel's place, so it's gonna be a little tricky
I rolled-
to hunt right now.
I rolled a 10 for waking up. Just that.
No.
It looks
Unfortunately
like
not.
everybody woke up fresh.
Yeah. Yeah. Everyone's good.
Excellent.
Sleep. Coterie sleep.
Well, I say that. None of you got any hungrier, but how hungry are you all?
I'm at 2 hunger.
One.
Yeah, I'm
I'm
at
at
2.
1. So.
Granted, she's been at 2 for a while, so she's like, this is fine.
2 is actually not that bad, generally speaking.
Yeah.
I mean, feed on another rabbit. He'll be fine.
Just go Capri Sun, some poor stray.
One of the wild cats just hangs around.
Oh, what a nice little doggy. I'm going to call you Juice Box.
Oh no.
I say that. Members of the Sabbat refer to people as Juice Boxes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Alright, so I think everybody went home except Blackjack.
Blackjack stayed at Samuel's.
I think Maeve did too, because I think Sam said everybody could stay the night.
I think all of us.
Okay,
did
maybe
as
y'all had a
show
big
of good
sleepover.
faith kind of thing.
Yep.
Yeah. It's the vampire sleepover. We took turns doing each other's makeup. We had a pillow fight.
Mm-hmm.
I used potence and bashed someone's skull in with it.
You know, a slumber party.
I mean, as much batching as you can do with the pillow.
Well, he hits you and the pillow just explodes, feathers go everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Samuel realizes this was a mistake.
Yeah.
Probably about 10 minutes into it.
I'm here. Sarah, look at some of the blood potency. Jeez. You hit blood potency 8. You have to drain and kill a human to get your hunger below 3.
At a certain potency, the elders begin feeding on other vampires a lot of times.
Yeah.
They don't admit that publicly, but that's rumors you've heard. All right. So you were all up. Let's see. You receive a notice, Samuel. Basically slid through the mail slot on your door.
Mm-hmm.
The prince is calling court, basically, at the Elysium, located at Burt on the Mountain. Burt on the Mountain sits atop Round Top Mountain. It's not the tallest location in the city. I believe the ledges where Samuel's domain and that entire area is actually the highest point. Round Top Mountain's about 3,000 feet or so. But you have an old mansion up there that's been turned into a museum. There's several 19th century homes and small buildings from around the northern Alabama area have been moved to the same location. They do living kind of historical reenactment things during the day. You know, it's the kind of place, it's touristy, school trips are taken there. They have an area out back that overlooks the city that a lot of people do weddings there. But after a certain time of night, it kind of becomes the domain of the upper crust of Kindred Society. They can look out over the city they rule. While it's surrounded by woods and kind of wilderness, it's just that small section of wilderness that's then surrounded by the city. So Samuel has certainly been here multiple occasions. In all likelihood, none of the rest of you have.
Nope.
Definitely
even
not Joey.
Not even in life.
Yeah.
Not that our viewers can see it, but I'm going to move y'all over to a different map. So down at the bottom here, you see where it says Jones Valley West.
Mm-hmm.
That is the upper portion of your domain.
Yes.
Now, that's the farmland area, Tooney Hollow, I think that what that area is actually called.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, just a few miles north of you, as the crow flies at least, is Burt on the Mountain. And you've got some nature parks around there, and so that is where the court will be held, but it's going to be held on Friday night. So some of you may have a night free, but not all of you. Samuel, Thursday nights are a night that you're supposed to report to the Chantry. As you know, Clan Tremere was devastated by an attack by Second Inquisition forces.
Mm-hmm.
Leaving only you and the Primogen Alejandro, that's his name, I think, Mendoza. You were the only survivors, as neither of you were at the Chantry at what was otherwise a fairly large meeting. In rebuilding the clan, Alejandro has been embracing potentials that were already kind of on the clan's radar, as well as other occultists and intellectuals that he has tracked down in the meantime. So the clan is essentially you and him and 5 neonates. Or is neonate the lowest?
I think so.
I'm trying to remember my terms here.
Yeah. Neonate is the lowest, just before Thin Blood.
Okay, 5 neonates. Now, most of them have been vampires for 3 or 4 or 5 years now. So they've developed to the point they can do a lot of their own researching and studying at this point. But once a week, Alejandro still likes to get them all together, and one of you, usually you, essentially is teaching class. They've all got projects that you assign to them to research, though they're getting to that level of competency where they tend to have their own little side projects too, which they may or may not tell you about.
Gotcha.
Jolene, when you wake up, you got several texts from the people you work with. There was a shooting at your restaurant the night before.
Oh, fuck.
One of your coworkers was shot. He's, in Huntsville Hospital right now. And the last any of them have heard, things weren't looking good, but they haven't really had a update yet. But so you got texts from several of them just letting you know.
Yeah, she'll probably hang out enough to kind of get what they're going to be doing tonight, and then go drop by probably both work and the hospital.
Alexander, you're still getting settled in. Have you decided what your domain or what your haven is going to be yet? I know there was some discussion prior to session, but
since it is flawed with being both haunted and creepy, I would say a crypt or whatever home that could be abandoned near a cemetery would be a fantastic start.
Okay. Let's see. So something cemetery adjacent at the very least.
Yeah, just for the simple fact of which, it being creepy and haunted, you gotta think that there's going to at least be some type of thing in that regard of, oh look, here come the spirits. You have more than just vampires to fear. But
well, and that way, if anybody were to spot you and run away talking about it, people would just assume it was another ghost story. Maybe, if you're lucky.
And for those of you who are viewing, yes, I have been claimed by a spoiled child.
Your webcam's not on, so we can't see you.
My end, but the light isn't on. You can't see.
It's a little dark. I can kind of tell there's something on your shoulder.
Yeah.
There's a little baby.
Yeah, she is. She is spoiled. Rotten.
Alright, is anybody going to go hunting today?
Yeah, I'll take a quick trip and go hunting. But I'm just gonna go to my farm and.
Okay, we're gonna have to establish how many cows you.
I have 3.
Do you have any points in herd?
I think so. If not, I can.
I haven't looked. I'm just because the rules. The rules concerning herd is you can. It's like so many times you have so much hunger you can get rid
so
of
many times a week.
Yeah, in a given time period without harming the herd.
Okay. I might not. That's fine. I'll work on it.
Yeah, if you're gonna have the cows that you have easy access to, you're gonna need some herd to
That's fine.
represent that.
I will work on that after session.
Okay.
I don't need both of you.
Yes, you do.
All right, Maeve, you've got the next few days off from work because of the attack you suffered.
Mm-hmm.
You probably have at least one of the guys from work text you to ask you how you doing.
She's gonna be like, arm still hurt, slowly getting better.
Okay. Yeah, he tells you they're keeping an eye out in case that guy shows back up, but
Mm-hmm.
But they don't figure he'll come back by, and the police are looking for him.
Yeah.
He even tells you, it made the news. They kind of put up like the face shot they got off the cameras, looking for this guy.
Never seen
Like,
again.
hopefully they find him and lock him up.
Dude, son, they better find him before I find him. I'll fuck him up.
You already found him.
Alright.
Oh, we know that.
They don't know that.
Exactly.
So what's Maeve going to do on her off night?
Walk her dog. That's about it, because she doesn't have to really work. And it's a free night for her, and she's not really that hungry. So.
So she just sits around and twiddles her thumbs. Thinks about how nice it'd be to have claws.
Soon.
One day.
Twiddles her claws.
She's like twiddles her thumbs and one day just, what the fuck? Oh, that's so cool.
That claws.
She starts obsessively watching all the X-Men movies that Wolverine's in.
Which means the only one you need to watch is the Wolverine.
Yeah, X2 had a whole lot of Wolverine in it.
Mm-hmm. That one where, what was it, 2 or 3?
Logan. That's what I was thinking of.
Oh yeah, the Wolverine sucks. Yeah, definitely go with Logan.
It's either X-Men 2 or 3, where he fights his face's wife, and like, her nail is just adamantite nails.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Pretty cool.
Lady Death strike.
So.
Yeah, getting off subject though.
We're all nerds here.
That is true. Alright. If none of you have anything especially pressing.
Well, I mean, the only thing I really wanted to do is just because I'm still kind of paranoid about the Brat Pack kind of being in our domain. So, like, every night I'd be going up and down just doing a quick lap around the domain.
You go, you take
Particularly around my farm.
You go, you take care of your farm, your animals, and you just kind of
do my
cruise
chores.
for a little while.
Yeah.
Arm hanging out the window of your truck in January.
Before they split from Samuel's, how should we okay, so we have to look nice for this, right?
Well,
This whole
yes.
prince shindig.
If it wasn't been made clear before, our society is mostly based off some sort of a feudal system. You're appearing before the lord of the entire city.
I know how to dress my Sunday best. I'm a little concerned about Farmer Joe over here.
I have a name.
I'm a little concerned about Farmer Blackjack Joe.
Well, yes, they will also need to dress nice.
Blackjack's just biting the inside of his gum right now. The inside of his cheek.
Do you own something that is not denim?
I'm wearing a leather
Aside
jacket.
from your jacket.
I like this leather jacket. It's
I
nice.
understand you. It's a nice jacket. It's a very nice jacket. Do you own something other than denim, flannel, and that jacket?
These
T-shirts
overall-
don't count.
No.
Have you bought anything in the last 5 years and happen to know your clothing size?
I mean, my size hasn't changed in as long, so no. I go, I work on my field. Every now and again, I bash heads in. I don't need to look nice for any of that.
She like reaches up and tries to like check the tag on his shirt.
It's a 3X.
She's like, okay,
Because he's brownie.
I ain't checking your pants size, so you just better tell me that.
It's a size 38.
Okay.
Again, brownie.
I will get you a pair of black pants and a white shirt. You can wear the leather jacket.
What do you want in return?
I'll figure that out. It ain't gonna be nothing stupid or anything. I ain't
It
gonna
sounds like it might be kind of stupid.
Oh, it's just the
Do
way
you
she
want to
talks.
look like a fool in front of the prince or not?
I don't.
The answer is no.
My thing is, I don't think I'm looking like a fool. I think I'm looking like a man of the land. Hey, I guess I can make do.
If you were trying to impress, well, no, that wouldn't work either.
No, I wouldn't.
Think of it as a favor, so that we don't have to listen to Samuel whine about us all looking like half Rat Pack.
I suppose.
Besides,
He'll
I'll
get
put
that
it like
look.
this.
That look. I see it right now.
Mm-hmm. That kind of like disapproving, like father look.
Hmm.
Besides,
saying?
it matters. The what you call the Brat Pack will also be there. Wouldn't you like to show them up?
I would like to show them up. Still biting the inside of his cheek. Please, nothing too tight. I'd still like to be able to maneuver.
Yeah, I'm not gonna put you in booty shorts. Don't worry.
I just meant tight fitting around the leg.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. You can pay me back. Maeve, Alexander, you need anything?
No, I have some clothes already.
If I may, I'll take a request. Yes.
Okay, what you need?
Good. 3-piece suit. Yes.
3-piece suit?
Okay. Button shirt, tie, and pants. That sounds good.
Okay, I'll get something that matches your eyes.
Which one?
Both. I don't know.
He's kind of reluctant to identify the fact which he does have clothing, but it's kind of dingy, and I don't
Well-
think his new abode is going to have suitable washing to get it ready for tonight, or for the day.
Join the club, brother.
Does Alexander have any resources? Because I seem to recall you saying he was a veterinarian before, though that would have been years back. But...
He- Resources. As far as I know, no, I don't believe he has any like resources on him. He'll probably take the time to either to procure them or make them if it is possible.
Okay. Well, what may have happened is you may have been forced to leave some of that behind, whatever little stashes you had.
Oh, of course.
So you may have one suitcase worth of clothes that may or may not be anything.
Of real worth.
Yeah, anything you would want to wear to something kind of a high class.
Yeah, because when you're hiding and then trying to duck and run at a moment's notice, you're not gonna think to carry a nice suit or at least a nice thing of clothes for some social interaction, let alone the fact of which you already look like a scary SOB to begin with. You ain't really gonna go to much socialized events unless you are told you must go regardless.
That's fair. A lot of Nosferatu do skip some of these some of the little parties they throw in Elysium.
So,
Now, the Prince calling court is a little different.
yeah, I would imagine so. Him calling court is like, yeah, no, you ain't got an option. You
Yeah.
come or you're going to catch hell later.
Yeah, your coterie was specifically told that they needed to show up.
I would imagine not all coteries have to go unless they are specifically told they have to go.
Right. The Prince can call court where everybody in the city has to show up.
Right.
This one,
By the way,
you don't think it's quite that big, but you think there's going to be a lot of people there.
and it would
Uh,
make sense for the
Calls
apprehending
out.
party to be there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Bird on the Mountain is usually used when it's going to be something kind of large. That or the country club, but they've used the country club recently, so.
By the way, Alexander, kind of want to say, welcome aboard, I suppose.
Thank you
I
for
don't
having
think
me.
anything's official or anything. That'd probably be up to Samuel. But I mean, I think it'd be. I personally have seen you work your stealth and magic, so
Well, the coterie could use someone that is skilled in the arts of stealth and subterfuge.
sure as hell ain't me.
You ain't wrong.
The day you start showing skill in stealth and subterfuge is the day I go walk out into the sun.
Harsh.
I really wouldn't want to wish that upon you.
Yes. You're very good at what you do.
Oh,
That isn't it.
Alright, so then you break up. Maeve walks her dog. It's still early enough. Jolene could do some shopping now, or she could do it during the day, the next day.
She'll probably try and do as much as she can.
are the Walmarts in Huntsville 24 hours?
In 2019, yes. Currently, no, I don't think so.
I mean, yeah, no, I don't think anything's 24 hours right now.
Yeah. They typically are.
She still
Yeah.
doesn't trust him to properly buy a shirt.
I text Jolene the emoji. I just as a reminder the emoji of a shirt, and 3XL the emoji of a pants. 38.
She just kind of nods like, I've got it. You have socks, right?
What a socks.
She finds socks and asks for the shoe size.
Oh, she pulls off a boot and looks at it, and, like smudges off some of the mud. This says like size 10.
She's
Make
gonna
with
get
that
like
what
a
you
10
will, I guess.
and an 11, just in case. Like, he has no idea how to figure out a shoe size, or the boots are so old that it was like a smaller size.
His feet are really crunched in there. He doesn't know.
So the 11.
Mhm.
10 and a half.
Vampire
Yeah.
feet don't blister, apparently, so, who cares
No, they
if
don't.
the shoe's tight?
Just pulls it off. It's like all like curled under, like a taco.
And then when it comes out of the boot, it just snaps back into place.
And we'll probably just go drop by work and visit the hospital. Well, probably just drop by work and then probably visit the hospital tomorrow, maybe in the morning.
Why is it now that I can imagine him, the second he takes the boot off, you just hear a distinct cracking like he's curling his toes, like, oh, that's so much better.
I mean, I wouldn't feel pain, but it would just happen, and everyone's like, "Are you okay?" Yeah, I'm fine. Why?
The trick is you were a farmer, so you would know how important good boots are. It would probably just be a habit that would carry over.
The bit that amuses me is our Nosferatu player is over there in the darkness.
I mean,
The
it
true
works.
Nosferatu experience.
Yeah.
He's method acting.
He is method acting.
It works.
Yeah.
Now, if he can just slowly creep up behind you at some point.
He's
So we-
done
will.
that.
So we can see him just kind of melt out of the shadows.
He
He's
will.
done that.
He's done that to Sarah already.
And he about got clocked.
It was funny.
It
It
was
was
fantastic.
hilarious, but he about got clocked.
Yeah. We were at Dragon Con. All the lights were off, and he just goes, "Hi," just out of the shadows.
Yeah, no, I have proven multiple times I can be quiet when I want to be.
Yeah, that man's a nos. Until he decides to dive bomb an air mattress and fling me into the ceiling.
That was amusing, and you know it.
Yeah, I know.
I need to go to Dragon Con with you kids.
When the apocalypse is over.
Yeah, it'll be next year.
Yeah, they've already canceled it this year, haven't they?
Yeah, they have.
All right. So Thursday night passes with really no big to dos. It's after the last few nights you've had, it's actually pretty calming and relaxing.
Mm-hmm.
Samuel gives his lessons at the chantry. Nothing explodes, which is not always the case.
Yeah.
Trying to think if there was anything. Jolene talks to her folks at work. You could go by the hospital, but your coworker's in the ICU, so you wouldn't be able to visit or anything since you're not family or.
Yeah. She'll just be like, if y'all hear anything, let me know. Or if his folks need anything, let me know.
One of the girls you work with does run up where she's got a car, she's having everybody sign, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
People are pitching in a few dollars for flowers and whatnot.
Yeah. Probably got a little tip jar up at the front set up for him or something.
Throw exactly $1 in it.
Just get the hard side eye from every waitress.
So if there's nothing else you want to do on Thursdays, we'll move on to Friday.
I don't see the Brat Pack on my cruise, do I?
No, nothing seems to be out of the ordinary.
Okay, good.
I'll say, does Jolene mention that this guy's in the hospital?
I mean, she probably would have said something when she woke up and saw the text messages. Like, oh shit, somebody got shot. It's in the hospital.
And some of you have probably heard it on the news or seen something about it. Gunn walked into a local restaurant. Nobody's exactly sure why at this point. Name of the victims being withheld until they notify the family. But
Good grief.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I know. Don't know if anybody else saw it, but I did.
If you do,
Don't worry about it.
what you do.
He did NOS things.
Boy.
This coworker of yours, is he familyless? No one to really call on.
Would she know that?
He's talking about his mother who lives in town. And you think he's got a dad that maybe he lives out of state, maybe, or maybe it was out of county. You don't remember for sure.
I mean, yeah, he's got a family. His mama lives around here.
Sort of strokes his beard and just sort of walks off thinking.
Close your eyes. Kindred shit.
So anyway.
Thinking, might be an interesting target to ghoul.
Could you not ghoul my co-workers? Makes it very awkward seeing them here.
They keep wanting to talk
We
about
need heal.
They keep wanting to talk about how great Samuel is.
I mean, the doc saved his life. Of course he's great.
Yes, it's got nothing to do with the fact that vampire blood is like a drug,
Yeah, of course not.
and ghouls get strung out.
Yep.
Besides, he ain't at your hospital no way.
Yeah, I know.
So like I said, Thursday passes uneventfully. Jolene does some of her shopping. Probably has to finish up, the next day during the day.
She tries to find some kind of hood cloak thing that might fit Alexander. That looks a little bit better than like a hoodie or a jacket.
A formal hoodie.
A formal hoodie, or like maybe goes to like Goodwill, or like if there's any kind of weird ass vintagey stores around that might have something with a hood cloak. She could make one, but she doesn't really have the time because she does have.
You might be able to find some kind of like hoodie T-shirt that he could wear under a button-up shirt.
That would just be a lot of layers.
Vampires don't get hot though, so
I'll say,
Yeah,
doesn't
but it
matter
would
to a
look
vampire.
weird.
Oh yeah, it
Trying
might
to
do that.
look, a cloak might look a little bit more formal than, say, a hoodie scrunched under a dress shirt.
Or you can just get him a new just black hoodie. It doesn't exactly go along with the formal, but a lot of Nosferatu, wear hoods or,
Yeah. She'll still try and find maybe a longer trench style coat that might have a hood, or try and fashion a hood to attach to it. She does have
Sew in a hood.
tailoring abilities. Well, she does have tailoring abilities.
This is where we find out she's a cosplayer.
No, she had to repair a lot of her own clothing.
So cosplayer.
So anyway, Friday night rolls around. As the sun sets, everybody give me another rouse roll. Jolene got hungrier.
Whoops, that's the wrong. I almost hit frenzy.
Maeve
Whoops,
got
that's not
hungrier.
the- I got hungry. Oh,
Blackjack got
hungry.
hungrier. Samuel got hungry.
Everyone's got to go eat first, man.
And
Everybody's hungry
everybody,
today.
everybody passed Thursday night. Everybody failed Friday night.
Perfect
Yeah.
balance, as all things should be.
We should have just all we should have all slept over again.
Samuel will go find one of his herd, and he will
Okay.
slake 1 point of hunger,
Okay.
which will be the second dot, the final dot of the week.
I'll let mine ride for now.
What's your hunger at?
2.
Okay, that's not bad at all.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'll let it ride for now.
Same with Maeve. 2 hunger. She's not gonna eat right now.
What is 3? Is there like a hunger table in here?
3 is bad.
Yeah, I know.
It's
4
not
I
as bad
start
as
doing
4, though.
stigmata.
3 is you need to call in that favorite and have a bite of cow.
Be like, so you know that favor you said, what did I want? I need a cow.
I want Bessie.
I
She's
will kill
gonna
you if you
debate
catch
it.
Bessie.
She's gonna debate it, and cause she's probably got everything ironed and set out to go. So she's just gonna go look for a Capri Sun again.
All right. What page were the hunting rules on?
Very on brand to playing vampire. I have the taste of blood in my mouth from my sinuses popping.
Gross. Thanks for sharing.
Hey, we're playing vampire.
Thanks, I hate it.
I have to experience it. How do you think I feel?
Uh-huh.
You probably also hate it.
Yes.
I really hope.
So I'm drinking water.
Okay, so farmers. That would be compose your animal kin if you were trying to feed from a domesticated animal that you might be able to coax towards you. If you're hitting the wooded area looking for another poor bunny or deer, then I believe we said last time that was... Okay, pull up your character.
I'm trying to scroll back up, see if maybe I can find it there.
Let's see. Jolene. I know we
Get that
used
slick.
survival.
Would it be wit survival?
I think it may have been wits. That sounds about right. And I believe the difficulty I used last time was a 3?
Yeah, for a deer.
3 or a 4, I forget. We'll go with a 3, so get back over here.
Oh.
Now, since you only missed by 1,
Here we go again.
I can allow you to succeed with some sort of negative outcome. So you would get the feeding that you need. So you could catch a deer, but it's going to have, gored you or stomped on you a little bit. You're going to have taken some physical damage.
Considering she has to show up in front of the prince and is that thin blood, yeah, no. If she can instead get a rabbit or find a stray cat on the way back.
A squirrel.
You managed to get a cat. We'll say you managed to get a cat.
Yeah, she looks bummed about that for the rest of the night.
It had a collar. Yeah, it's.
Oh.
Oh God. I picture you draining the cat. Look at the wound. And then hiding in the bushes next to the street and tossing it out in front of an oncoming car. Just to cover the crime.
She has to hug her cat now.
You
Yeah.
turn the corner and you just like.
Now, while you're holding it like that, look at it hungrily.
Is that pork chop?
No,
No, that's Loki.
that's Loki boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think pork chop's just a wee bit smaller.
Pork chop's a lot bit smaller.
Now, that is a small animal, so it only gives you, what, the 1?
Yeah, that brings her down to 2 at least, so.
Alright, so you're down manageable at least.
Get Purdy and take the clothes over. Are we all meeting? She'll like text her. Where are we meeting for this? Are we going somewhere? What's up? Oh, so good morning.
Evening.
Well, evening.
Well, Samuel's got the nicest car of any of you.
Yep.
I will take my Chevy. I don't give a.
We know.
I will drive
Also,
my crappy Chevy.
does he get anything for the phlegmatic resonance of his herd?
Oh. And we have to roll... Alright, let's see. Your herd... Or you decided what your herd had.
Yeah.
But then I have to roll to see if it's acute or kind of what level it's currently at.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. Advanced systems. Is that hunting and humors? That's probably it. It needs to be intense or acute for you to really get anything much out of it. So, let me see. I rolled a 1. Negligible. So, nah, nothing fancy. You don't get anything fancy off this one.
Okay. But he has fed.
Do you slack 1 or 2?
1.
Who, what, huh?
Vancouver by Night's hosting this.
Oh!
Aw,
Excellent. Thank you.
Yes,
thank you for the host, y'all.
There's people in chat. Oh,
We much appreciate it.
Yeah, I don't.
Oh, yeah, there are several people in chat.
Talking.
that's
Yes.
weird. Free to
I haven't
talk.
seen anybody talking, but I see where they're there.
Yeah. They're just
Mhm.
Yeah.
listening respectfully.
Fair
Because we
enough.
just ramble on and
We just have
nosh
different.
on cats.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Hello, welcome aboard.
Oh yeah. Is anybody else going to hunt before the big shindig?
No. I'm gonna text the coterie and be like, I'll meet y'all there.
Right, but you're only at a
Where's
2, so that's
there?
not bad.
I got your clothes. You ain't wearing them. Where's there?
God damn it. Almost got out of it. He does one message that's an ellipsis. He's like, I'm at my farm.
To answer your earlier question, Alexander is at 2, so he's just going to be like, I can make it tonight. I can make it. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
So he's going to try and continue to make sure he's at least semi-presentable.
Are we
I'm
all
assuming
meeting?
we're meeting at Samuel's.
I guess.
He will respond to meet at his place.
Jolene will just like take everyone's clothes there.
Maeve, are you hunting tonight?
No, because she's at 2 hunger, so
Okay.
she's just gonna ride it out. But she will be taking her dog with her and would have given him a thorough scrub. So he's clean looking.
Wearing a nice
mean-
little bandana.
Put a little bandana, yeah, just like a black and white one.
To be fair, after hearing that bark in the background, yes, Puppers is very happy for the cleanest.
So are you
Dog's
going
going
to
crazy,
take
sorry.
your dog and leave it in the car, or are you going to take your dog into court?
Take it into court.
Oh man, don't leave it in the car. Someone's gonna punch you. Someone's gonna bust open your window and try to like.
It's at night. The sun's not out, and it's January, so you know.
Never
Animal
know.
rights activists.
This is gonna
Yeah.
be great. Like, with like 5, 6 vampires and a dog trying to fit in the car. One of us is getting covered in dog hair.
I'm used to it. It's fine.
Mhm.
Or Maeve could just ride with Blackjack in his truck and keep the dog in the back.
There you go. That could work.
Make sure you buckle them tight.
All right.
She would just,
Everybody meets up at Samuel's. I'm going to assume Samuel is probably dressed to the nines.
Oh yeah. Like that picture that's on his character sheet. That's
Pretty
yeah,
much exactly what he's wearing at the moment. All right.
pretty much.
Is anybody noticing a lot of the video stutter?
A bit, yeah.
I wonder if it's on my end or.
It's
I don't know.
negligible,
Even-
I'm sure.
Yeah, it's not super.
Yeah,
Even
mostly it's not real bad. Every now and then, no.
We've been having some.
Zoom
that-
itself. is
Yeah, I think it might just be
freezing.
Zoom.
Zoom's just going nuts with all the new traffic over the course of the last few
But
quarantines.
no, that's true.
Yeah, so
All right. I'll just have to soldier
There
on
he is.
regardless.
I was like, where is this? And oh, he do be looking kind of fresh.
Yep. A little pale, but other than that, needs to get some sun.
Don't we all?
Yeah. He just kind of waves it off as that he just works nights, so he sleeps during the day. That's why he's pale.
You're dressing kind of extra for a doctor.
Jolene would be like in black slacks, a button black shirt,
Oh,
and
yeah.
her hair will be braided.
Yeah,
Me,
I'll
Maeve,
post
yeah.
some.
Her hair was gonna be braided and tied.
So, what kind of clothes is Maeve wearing? You said, you
Black
give me
button.
colors, but is
A
it like
button-down
slacks
shirt.
or?
Yeah, slacks, a button-down collared shirt, and then her hair will be braided.
Okay. So everybody's pretty
Blackjack's just
presentable.
Blackjack's just wearing whatever Jolene got him.
White shirt, black pants, black shoes, black socks.
I had most of this already. know why you bothered to give me another one.
How old is what you had?
Now, never you worry. The 70s was a magical time.
I'm sure it was. It was also over 30 years ago.
I don't know what you're talking about.
The clothes you would probably be wearing would have been older than me.
A lot of stuff I own is older than you.
I'm aware.
That truck over there is older than you are.
I'm aware. I've ridden in it. Go get changed.
I am changing. He's like just like undoing his like overalls and right there.
Samuel just in the background thinking, I think I'm older than the company that even made your car. Truck. Whatever.
I'll look at that
She
after
would give
session.
Alexander like the white shirt, and could she have found like some kind of presentable, nice black jacket with a hood or a cloak with it?
Yeah, we'll say she's found something.
Okay, we'll just give him that.
You know, might have had to go to, a Hot Topic or a Zero Gravity or something.
Ooh, zero gravity. That's a specific call.
Yeah, there's
all
one in
that for
Huntsville.
you.
There's one in Huntsville.
He will kind of bow graciously as he goes to properly find a spare room to change in.
I'm literally just taking off my overalls right there. Just
The middle of the living room, just
Kicking off
Sorry
mud-covered
about the
boots.
I'm sorry about the mud, Samuel.
It's mostly dried on at this point. It'll vacuum up fine.
get a Roomba.
Hmm.
I would imagine Samuel is the kind of person to own a Roomba for the shiggles.
Yeah,
There might
He has a name
there might
for
be
it,
a Roomba
probably.
you don't know.
the Roomba sucks it up and it's like it just kind of goes into overdrive.
Why is Blackjack banned from Samuel's house? He killed the Roomba. That man had an emotional attachment to that vacuum. I don't know why.
It was basically his goal.
I mean, you went and destroyed Fluffy.
Has a bloodstone on it so he knows where in the house it is.
Oh man.
Where is the bloodstone that you still have?
He has it on him.
Okay. The other two
It's
you
carrying-
feel some few miles to the north of you.
Yeah. I know he gave one to, as sort of to be used by the Primogen.
And then
And
you had the
then
one that
there's
was on
one-
the car.
No, not the car.
took that one.
The other one. That's the one he has. The one that he had before the hit. He sort of embedded on the poacher
Okay.
because we don't know his name.
Oh, that's right. You have it. You have not learned that yet. All right. So y'all all get dressed. You head out. You could try to all squeeze into one car, but with the dog, that's next to impossible. At least with that. It's not physically impossible, but you would have absolutely no dignity piling out of this car once you got there.
He's not letting the dog in his car.
So you're taking two vehicles. All right.
Then 2 vehicles it is.
So Maeve and Blackjack are in the truck with the dog in the back.
Let the pooch go on the back. What's the little one's name?
Oh yeah, what is your doggo's
I-
name?
I
thought
didn't
you
even
named it
think of
Vinny.
a name for my dog.
I thought you named it Vinny. Or
Vincent.
Vincent.
Yes, I named it Vincent.
Vincent. That's a
I have that written down. Vincent Maeve's Bound Familis is a German Shepherd.
Thank you.
that's an odd specific name, but I mean I'll ride with it. Make sure it's buckled nicely.
Yeah, she like has something. So like, for this reason, to where the dog will be secure in the truck.
She was ridden with Blackjack before.
It's not even that the truck like goes fast because it really doesn't. It's just every bump you hit,
Uh-huh.
There's just no shocks left.
there's absolutely no shocks left in that truck.
So
Good grief.
you head up to you head up Round Top Mountain. Blackjack's truck struggles a little bit with some of the hills. You know, he shifts it down into like second gear.
Come on, baby, you got this. You ain't dying on me yet.
Samuel's car, on the other hand, has no issues.
Like side by side for a while, and then we start going up the hill, and I start slowing down. He's just going up like nothing. Like, oh hell, come on, give me a sec, Maeve.
But you manage to pull in not too far behind him, so everybody is piled out of Samuel's car as the truck pulls up. You see some people walking in. There's two men at the door that, from previous experience, Samuel, you know these gentlemen are probably ghouls. You know, all along the road you came in, there's probably untold number of security personnel. The Prince and Primogen have been very careful since the attack that destroyed the previous Tremere Chantry. So the lower down on the mountain they are, probably the more hired, like, human security they are. Where you start having kind of the Prince's own, or the Primogen's own ghouls and lower ranking members as the security once you get kind of closer to the facility. I know I posted a picture in the Discord of Burr on the mountain. So as you come up, the main building is a large mansion. Burt built it in the 30s. I want to say 36 or 38. I forget.
Ish.
The first house burned down the day he moved in. He used straw insulation and there was an electrical problem. So 2 years later, he had the second one built, which is the one that's here. And he lived there until the 50s, until like 55, when he died. And then left it to the city for the purpose of making a museum.
Yep.
So like I said, it's a very family-friendly sort of place during the day. In the early evening, they do cocktails out on an area called the View, which is the part that really overlooks the city. But it's much later than that now. You know, by the time you get here, it's 11:30, getting close to 12. Everything official has been shut down. You walk in, there are quite a number there are dozens of kindred here. For most of you, this is probably the most you've ever seen in one place.
I'm immediately scanning for the Brat Pack.
They're there.
I keep them in eye line and just kind of go like circle strafe around them.
At least one of them spotted you coming in. All of them seem to notice you doing the word strafing thing. Some eyebrows get raised as Vincent walks in. Nobody else seems to have brought any ghouled animals.
It's on brand for our coterie.
Exactly.
And Vincent was a German Shepherd?
Yes.
Okay.
It's not like it's a Doberman or something.
Yeah, and it's a very nice example of its breed. Very healthy looking. You occasionally have to shush him as he wants to kind of growl at everybody, though. Ghouled animals tend to be a little more aggressive. But you've got the Feral Whispers thing. He's, you can keep him obedient without any trouble.
Yeah.
Jolene, you're getting a lot of looks as you walk in. Maeve and Blackjack, not so much. A lot of the kindred here may not know them very well, but they've been around in the city.
I also kind of want to say that at Blackjack, who usually has like this, his hair's kind of going wherever. It's actually like slicked back. So
kind
the
of
only thing to,
kind of
yeah,
a 50s.
it's
greaser
like a
slick
pompadour
back?
type. Yeah,
Okay.
it's like a pompadour looking thing.
So it's a little out of date, but reminiscent of when you came up.
Mhm.
You're hardly the only person here that's got a
Back in
hairstyle
their-
or
back in their
style of
era.
clothing that's a little out of date. You know,
Samuel.
Yeah,
But
like
with-
the hair in the picture.
you know, with older kindred, it's sometimes it's unintentional, and then sometimes it's just stubbornness.
No, it's the children who are wrong.
I forget. Oh, there was one of the official books. I can't remember if it was Chicago by Night or one of the other ones. We had the guy that was still running around in bell bottoms and stuff.
Oh, jeez, that would not surprise me.
I think that is Chicago by Night.
But yeah, he just has his nice clothes on. So like maybe one of the only comments someone might have is, "Oh wow, he cleans up well."
You think you hear one of the Brat Pack asking one of the other Brat Pack, I wonder which one of them held him down and which one scrubbed him.
Just
Had to be the gangrel.
this is my night as far as I'm concerned.
I'm the belle of this ball.
Exactly.
But you also hear some of the Brat Pack discussing who the Nosferatu is.
Mhm.
They did not know your coterie had one of them, and they don't recognize him.
Good.
Let's see.
Good, excellent. My identity is secured.
You see a couple of the
Says-
deputies.
Complete darkness back there.
It's really good. There's mood lighting, and then there's whatever the hell's going on over there.
Yeah, I know.
I need
He's
lighting
actually
because,
just sucked in all the light.
Yeah.
like, if I don't have light, I just start like actually going. Just gets darker here.
Anyway, you see several of the deputies here. Abram Jonas, the sheriff, is here. The deputies are dressed in slacks and button-ups, but kind of like Blackjack. A lot of them have leather jackets on.
Oh, I absolutely have that leather jacket on over my shirt.
Yeah, they're dressed nice-ish, but still kind of like their own duty. Now, Abram himself, the sheriff, is in full, in a full suit. Samuel, you spot Alejandro. He's over there to one side with pretty much the entirety of your clan here in the city.
Mm-hmm.
It's his brood. He embraced all 5 of them, so. And some of them are clearly comfortable in this sort of setting. A few of them are a little fish out of water.
Yeah.
But he makes a point of always bringing at least 1 or 2 of them to any event to get everyone used to it. Because to maintain power in the Camarilla, you have to be able to politic some.
Yeah.
Even if it's not going to be your main focus or something that's going to be your responsibility all the time, you never know when it might fall to you. And he uses the example of how he became Primogen just kind of out of nowhere. That's a good example of it. You only see one other Nosferatu, other than Alexander. The clan whip, Theodore, I believe his name was, is here.
That we can see.
That you can see. You do know there are a few Nosferatu sheriffs, or deputies rather.
Mm-hmm.
So they could be around. The poop. I brought up my notes for the all the Primogen names and stuff, completely forgetting that I had a more complete one in Roll20. I was blanking on the Seneschal's name.
Chad Tucker.
Chad Tucker. Yes, okay. You do see the Seneschal here. When you walk in as a group, he approaches you.
Howdy.
Hello. Well, he doesn't really have a last name to call you. Hello, Blackjack. Doctors, very good to see you.
Of course.
Glad to see the Coterie of the Hour is here.
Wouldn't miss this for the world.
Excellent work tracking down this poacher. Another important thing is the poacher is on display on a table.
Of course he is.
He is laid out on a table.
Stake still in him to keep him in torpor.
It's chained.
You're not sure it's you're pretty sure it's a different stake.
Interesting.
Y'all mind if I could nibble on him real quick? No, I'm just kidding.
That would be frowned upon.
Yes.
We do ever have drinks. He motion you over to the table.
Sure.
And they are, as always, exquisite. I recommend at least having a glass.
Yeah,
Stewart,
yeah, we'll see.
the Seneschal. Oh yes, it's we have members of our various herds get somewhat intoxicated, so the effect passes through the blood and into you as you drink. Just know, as a word of warning to those that haven't been here before, you could wind up a little intoxicated.
I don't anticipate getting wasted, as the kids say nowadays.
It's probably best not to. I don't think you'll be called upon to give any speeches or anything, but the prince is certainly going to call you to the front to acknowledge, the great service that you have done the city.
I do have one prepared just in case.
Oh, very good, very forward thinking.
Well, that's either going to be interesting or embarrassing. One of the two.
Oh, don't be so down on him, Doctor. The Brujah have a long history as warrior philosophers and great thinkers.
Yes, I'm aware.
Granted, that's mostly in the old world, but
Which is why I said there's the possibility of it being interesting.
Right. Time for that drink, yes.
Let's see. So he spoke. He doesn't go out of his way really to speak to anybody else. If any of you speak to him, he'll respond. Jolene, he never even makes eye contact with.
Yep.
As a note, whenever the sheriff looks like he's gonna make eye line at Jolene, Blackjack's kind of like an eclipse.
It's like that one gif.
At this point, somebody else walks in, and the Seneschal's like, "Please excuse me." As he steps away, Blackjack, you're watching the sheriff. The sheriff notices. He was in conversation with someone. He's just noticed your party.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, he's immediately mean mugging Jolene. He was taking a sip out of his drink, spots her, and his face contorts like he'd taken a sip of something sour.
Howdy.
When you wave, you get his attention. He sort of nods to you. He doesn't look happy to see you either, but it's not the same reaction.
When he turns and goes back to his conversation, I'm gonna like whisper back to Jolene, "I like you enough to do this, but I'd prefer we didn't have to do this all night."
Well, that's really not in my control.
Couldn't you just be like less than bloody just for tonight?
Couldn't you not be a vampiric abortion?
Exactly.
Ouch.
Why?
You'll remember.
Jeez.
Jesus.
Basically,
I
what
have-
they've been called.
I have never heard it phrased like that before.
I've never
Amazing.
heard that either, so I'm just like, wow, alright, we going to new levels tonight. Hot
Well,
damn.
Well, I mean, the fun part is with her backstory, she literally got embraced and then dumped. Yeah, so quite literally just vampiric abortion.
Yeah, I'm not.
Basically,
I'm not certain she even knows what clan her progenitor was. It wouldn't
Something
really matter
Samuel
with
can
thin
help
blood.
with. That's something Samuel can help with.
There's rituals for that.
Isn't
Yeah, there
that
is.
why Jolene?
You can
is
get a lot of
really
stuff in the
very-
blood. I didn't think you could get clan though.
With
Doesn't get along with-
have a
Yeah.
combination. Well, I have a taste of blood as the power, then also have the blood walk ritual.
Oh, okay, it's a combination thing. Okay, I was thinking the
Which,
taste of blood by
yeah.
itself didn't give that to you, but okay.
Yeah, blood walk combos with taste of blood. On a win, the ritual. A win on the ritual will allows the user to learn the generation as the name of the subject as well as the subject's sire. A critical win also informs the user of any blood bonds active on the subject as a reagent or thrall. As a regent or thrall.
Okay.
But
Sorry, I just checked the chat. I'm glad to know that someone's enjoying the fact to which I have been slowly creeping up and going at a distance.
Oh no, that's just me.
yeah,
Yeah, Deca Volti is Deca, and Grumpy Cleric is somebody.
That's
That's Jolie.
That's who I thought it was, but I've got too many names to keep up with as it is. So.
Uh-huh.
All right. So the Seneschal steps off to greet someone else that's coming in.
Mhm.
Not to pick on Jolene, but
you
Are
absolutely
there any
are.
other? No other thin bloods here tonight, right? It's just her.
no, you are the only thin blood. The rules of Elysium. Elysium can be any area that the prince declares to be Elysium. But Elysium is neutral territory. There can be no violence. Now, that doesn't count for things like executions and whatnot, but that's the prince doing that, so.
Reason she's not probably getting attacked right now.
Actually, thin bloods are not covered by that.
Oh, lovely.
Fantastic. She's gonna
Now.
stick to probably one of the group.
Now, your coterie has been called in here to be acknowledged for something they've done, so it would be an extremely poor taste for someone to do something to you. But it probably wouldn't be a, staking and leaving out for the son offense.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends on how much offense the sheriff, or the prince took to it, but
My best outfit. I put on high heels and pantyhose.
Well, if
Please
this,
don't
if this
murder
is if this is like feudal society, then I can demand recompense and try to duel that person.
Think it'll go that well.
well, I'm just throwing that out there that, one of you might
Yeah.
want to kind of, even if y'all kind of disperse to intermingle and chit-chat, yeah, somebody might want to stick with her.
Oh no, Alexander has been like paying attention to her discomfort, so he's just kind of sticking nearby. One, he is the wild card. No one knows him.
No one, well, the other Nosferatu knows who you are, but
Well, yeah, the other Nosferatu, but for the most part, like everybody else doesn't really know him that
No.
well. So it's a lot easier for him to just kind of like stick beside her and just be like, look, if I could, I'd happily help you disappear. In fact, I could teach you. Maybe, yes.
here, take a bite.
Maybe,
Uh,
maybe at some point. I'm getting used to this awkward mess.
And,
Only the
That's
rest
the
of eternity
boss.
to go.
and that's when you spot the little cluster of. Well, you think you recognize at least one of them as Ventru. You recognize a couple of Toreador. You're not exactly sure who the rest of them are. But you see one of your favorite people in the world.
Oh no.
Blanchett.
Pardon?
Blanchett.
That was Jeanette, right?
Yeah, the tattooist.
Yes. The Toreador tattoo artist. She is well known in the city. Amongst, the, amongst, like, the other tattoo artists and, she doesn't work for any particular shop, but she'll kind of hop around and do work for any of them. People that know of her work really kind of seek her out. She is very good at what she does. And she is in charge of tattooing, or branding, I think they call it, all of the Thin Bloods with this little crescent moon design. That the ink involves, I can't remember if it's blood from a Tremere, or it's blood that
Yes.
Tremere have done something to, I forget exactly.
It involves blood from a Tremere, so it does not heal over. Because if it was just a regular tattoo, vampiric healing would take care of it.
So she has spotted you, and you don't know what she's saying, but man, the rest of the crowd is glancing over at you and laughing.
She just kind of squares up her shoulders and just looks right back at her, gives her just a sweet smile and a nod, and just goes over to get a drink.
There's a mortal behind the little table or bar, whatever they've got, serving the drinks. He'll hand you whatever you want.
Anything not blood?
Give me a whiskey sour.
He looks
Give
at
me
you
three.
funny. Because all the drinks he's got out, kind of, on the surface, it's all blood, but it's like, here's from somebody that's been drinking vodka. Here's from somebody that's been drinking wine. Here's from,
It's more wine cooler than blood.
I'll be right back.
Well, yes, certainly. I mean,
Just... Hell, surprise me. Just something without blood in it.
let's see. He nods, he goes, he mixes a drink, and he brings you a Bloody Mary. As he hands it to you, he's like, it won't stand out this way.
I appreciate the idea. As a celery stalk is probably sticking out of it.
Well, I don't know. If he's trying not to make it stand out, he might not. I don't know. I guess it depends if it even counts as a Bloody Mary without that.
She's just gives him a thumbs up and just starts drinking. Because Thin Bloods, yeah.
Right, because you can drink it. Anybody else that tried to drink it would be, having to spit it back up pretty quickly. And I forget, do the Thin Bloods still have to spit it back up?
Let me double check. But it's the merit is lifelike, so I'm gonna double check. And then Iron
At the very least, it's something where you can go for hours as opposed to,
yeah,
seconds or minutes for anybody else.
yeah. She's not gonna have to make a dash for the balcony and dry heave. I'll look into that.
That'd be a great,
right now. Great impression.
yeah. Alexander, Theodore steps up to you, shakes your hand. So how's the trial run with the coterie going?
Oh, yes. Everything is going just fine. Was able to show off a few of my stealth abilities to blend in and, well, mainly help find
He kind of points back towards the other room where the body is, staked up. He's like, to find our
dear friend that we are here for tonight.
Yes, that was a very good showing for your first night, by the way.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Well, I suppose you could say that.
Grandmother Dorcas was quite pleased.
Oh, good. I'm glad that she is happy with my work. Hopefully I can continue to supplement the happiness and to supplement information.
Oh yes, I know she'd be very interested in, in what goes on in the Jones Valley domain. Well, as she is in all domain, all the city.
Oh, yeah, but I'm going to continue to strive to be a bit better at my work. For now, luckily, Master Samuel, or Doctor, as they call him, has allowed me to set up a haven. I spent most of yesterday scouting for a good location, so hopefully everything can go right and I can get my information network started, or at least get started on making one.
Exactly. Which reminds me, we do need to send somebody around to show you the ins and outs of the Warrens, which is a catch-all term for the sewers, and in the case of Huntsville, the cave systems up under the city as well.
Oh, yes, that'd be fantastic. That would help greatly. I do plan on making it possible to escape my new haven if push came to shove. So good to know. Good to know.
Let's see. Maeve, what would you be doing at this party?
She'd be kind of staying near, Jolene with Vincent, just kind of, on his chain leash of sorts.
Is it like a chain, like you put a regular dog out in the yard with, or is it like logging chain?
Ship chain.
Just tore an anchor off a boat. That's the.
Right, just hold that. Just like a regular chain you would keep the dog out in, because she didn't think it would be as appropriate to have this big old chain, logging chain around the dog.
One single ship anchor chain, just to handle.
The anchor is the holds the leash.
It's kind of tossed over her shoulder casually.
Mhm.
It goes well with her outfit. It's an accessory. Some people do purses. Some people do ship anchors.
You have one kindred approach you. He asks your name. Introduces himself as... Where's my list of names? That's an odd last name. Introduces himself as Michael Slavin.
Spell the last name.
Slavin.
Okay.
He also rattles off his sire's name, but you don't necessarily even retain that.
Okay.
It makes sense to you once he says he's of Clan Ventrue, because the Ventrue are big on their lineages and whatnot. But apparently he is also a dog lover. He immediately starts, talking to you about Vincent. So it's very unusual. It's very unusual for any of us to bring a dog to these sorts of things, or bring an animal to these sorts of things. Well, I suppose some of the Nos may have rats in their pockets or something. But
And he is a part of the coterie. Wasn't gonna leave him home.
Is he friendly?
As friendly as he can be.
Basically, if you order him to be friendly, he'll be friendly-ish, but that's about it.
Yeah.
He really only gets bad if you're not around. Even around the rest of the coterie, he'd be a little hard to handle if you weren't there.
Yeah.
or if one of them just walked into your house uninvited or something. You know. But you know, with you there to calm him down, he allows this Michael guy to pet him a little bit, and he talks to you briefly. He starts trying to discuss like dog breeds and whatnot. Is Maeve really into that, or is Vincent just the dog she got?
No, Maeve likes dogs.
Okay, so you're able to discuss certain, you know, the variety of breeds and what the German Shepherd is good for, or was specifically bred for.
Yeah.
A little bit later, you hear. Oh, and I should say, Alejandro, when he notices that you've walked in, Samuel, he steps over to speak with you, with his little gaggle of his brood falling around.
He has all of them.
All 5 of them are there. As he's walking over to you, he kind of makes a shooing motion, and you know, 2 or 3 of them break off and go start up conversation or get into conversations with other people.
Well, you brought the entire flock today, I see.
Well, you know, they're going to have you up there, you know, bragging. They're going to be bragging about a member of Clan Tremere, so I wanted them all here. It's also a large get together, so it gives them a chance to meet a wider variety.
The older we get, the more political animals we're forced to become.
Indeed, it's
good to learn early.
More than likely, it will be a secondary skill for most of them, but it's one we should all cultivate. You're a good example of that. I often hold you up as an example to them of someone that stays focused on their work, but has these secondary skills they develop.
Well, thank you very much, my lord. I appreciate your candor.
Good work catching this fellow.
My thanks. Might interest you to learn that the initial catch came as a result of our unique brand.
I would expect no less. And it will be good to remind the city of how useful we are.
Indeed.
We've been in a bit of a slump since the attack, but
he'll sort of tap the little magnet that he has in his pocket, just enough to make it a bit rattling sound. These things are quite handy.
Oh, indeed. Yes, I had heard that was how you managed to trace him back to his lair.
As meager as it was. Personally, I was actually rather impressed with Jolene.
Indeed.
Yes. She overpowered him.
That's hard to believe. Though I suppose he could have been hungry and low on blood.
Yeah. She did manage to seal his method of escape by overpowering him with physical strength.
Somewhere, Jolene in the background, just downing the entire Bloody Mary.
Why are my ears burning?
What's going on?
Well, good then. Perhaps I had worried that it might have been a mistake for you to bring her into your coterie, but perhaps it wasn't.
No, it was not. Every member of my coterie is someone that I believe shows promise to excel in their fields.
A team of specialists, as you are. Oh, I see.
Precisely.
I can certainly see where a thin blood's ability to walk in the day, or walk in the sun, could prove useful.
That it is.
Though there are some superstitious types that, and he kind of cuts his eyes over toward. He doesn't look over at the sheriff, but he kind of cuts his eyes over the sheriff. There are a few superstitious types that, allow, I suppose you'd say, allow fear to outweigh the benefits of such people.
It is a shame.
Yes.
From, well, unless I am to be giving an account of what happened before the Elysium, before the court.
I don't believe
Sleepy.
that's the prince's plan, but
Well then,
you know, because he had the sheriff's deputies there as witnesses to give him the blow by blow.
of course. Well, as my primogen, might be interesting to know that her ability to blend in was so well that he mistook her for human. And spilled a few secrets that might have been falsified records, but
Oh, what secrets are this?
well, he did admit to her that he is from Decatur.
No, and then that fits along with the was it the receipts I believe you had found in his coat
Yes,
that would have placed him there.
it is a minor concern of mine that he could potentially be an anarch agent.
Interesting that you've come to that conversation or come to that conclusion. I don't know the full details of his questioning, but well, we've been given some reason to think he may have been released here to be an annoyance or perhaps a distraction.
Well,
Though for what purpose we don't know.
for a few nights, that is certainly the case.
Indeed.
It is odd that someone as well versed in their disciplines as they are would so blatantly violate the masquerade like that. Even anarchs are.
Well, what
Little more
disciplines does he really have, though? Certainly, he could grow the certainly he had the protean claws, but that is a low, a low power in the discipline. It's something many of the early ones have, or the young ones
Yes.
have.
Maeve and Blackjack both reported that he also was skilled with celerity. Pretty decently, actually. Me as the player did. He also show signs of fortitude as well.
No.
No,
Not particularly that you would have noticed. No.
right.
No,
The
but
only
I
other weird
recognize
thing, the thing that you would have noticed that nobody
The
else
obvious gate.
would be the well, everybody saw the Asian man walk out of the target and get in that guy's car. You're the one that saw the face morph back in the rearview
Yeah.
mirror.
And that's a pretty high level obfuscate power. The Mask of 1,000 Faces. I think that's like a rank 4, if I remember correctly.
Something like that. It's,
Me now double checking. Sorry. 265.
well, it's not terribly important. I know it was one of the higher level ones.
Imposters guys. The Mask of 1,000 Faces. Yeah, that's a rank 3 power. Okay. Yeah. He'll go.
Wait,
Samuel report is the one that interested me is his skill with obfuscation.
Obfuscation?
Yes, he was rather skilled. Enough to be able to change his form at will.
That one that I had not heard of.
Yes, that is the part that alarmed me. The only reason I noticed is because he did not get past my auspics.
Sorry, I'm looking up something because I completely blanked on a word. Okay. Because that is the first I've heard of that. Well, perhaps the prince will comment on it. They have apparently questioned him fairly thoroughly. He gestures over to where the body's staked currently. This is a bit of theatrics.
Yes, that looks like a new steak as well.
I would assume it is likely the lady's ideal. Prince Deschler is not. He's not theatrically minded.
Yes, well, as the kind would say, happy wife, happy life. Or unlife, in our case.
Oh, indeed. All right. About this time, the not Stewart. Seneschal. You know, he's holding his wine glass and he's got some little something that he's kind of dinging it. Everybody starts to quieten down. Assembled kindred of the city, please allow me. Let's see. Assembled kindred of the city, your prince. The door opens up and Charles Deschler, the Prince of Huntsville, and his wife Nora Deschler, Primogen of Clan Ventru, come through the door, followed by the other members of the Primogen that were not already here. They walk over. There were some seats set up against one wall. A little ways in front of it was where the table with the perpetrator. So the prince and his lady take their seats. The Primogen are kind of standing on either side of them. Alejandro.
Quick question.
Yes.
Is the bloodstone that he planted on the guy still pinging off his body, his tortured body?
Yes.
Okay.
And the other bloodstone is in this building somewhere.
Okay. But where exactly now?
This is just you taking key mine again.
Can you blame me?
Yes.
Maybe he can. So everyone takes their seats. The prince calls for any that are visiting his city to present themselves. And you have one or two kindred you don't know that walk up and, tell the prince who they are, where they're from, why they are in Huntsville. It's one of the laws of ruling domain is if you show up in someone else's city, you must present themselves to you, or to them. And they can decide, basically, if you get to stay in their town or if you need to be out. If you better be out by sunrise. No big surprises here. You get the impression, or at least Samuel, who kind of knows how this process works, gets the impression that all these people had probably sent notification ahead that they were coming. This is just a formality. In many cases, it's just people traveling from one place to another. Or that are here on some specific piece of business. There is one member of Clan Ventru that is here. A company he's deeply involved in is starting up a branch here, so he'll need to be here for a few months. And he's granted the right to stay. He's told kind of where he can hunt. Lady Deschler speaks up about allowing him the kind of communal hunting ground that some of the Ventru share. That he can have access to that as well. there's a little bit of business in the city. He gives a report on the struggles of the remaining Primogen in Decatur. The Anarchs are really pushing to advance recently, which slides him into the business that tonight is truly about. The masquerade breaches that were going on to the south of the city, or the southern part of the city. He brings up the killing that happened outside the city limits, between Huntsville and Arab. He goes through the first murder, the assault on a member of Clan Toreador, Howard, the assault on Howard Trudeau, who is recovered and here tonight. And, there's a few slight applause as Howard kind of raises his hand or whatever. He mentions the other murder, but the situation has been resolved thanks to the dedicated work of the Jones Valley Coterie. If you would please, come forward.
Back straight, head up high, making my way up front.
Yep.
Head up high, middle fingers extended at the brat pack.
No.
No, I wouldn't do that.
Keep kind of in the middle of pack.
Maeve will be behind Jolene with Vincent walking next to her.
Alexander will be dead last.
May I present to you the Jones Valley Coterie? Dr. Samuel of Clan Tremere, a familiar face to most everyone here. Maeve, a fellow gangrel. Blackjack of Clan Bruja. Jolene. And Alexander of Clan Nosferatu. A very recent addition to our city, but who proved himself useful to our defense on his very first night. And there's a very polite round of applause. Charles goes on that about your capture of him on Wednesday, and the calling, the tracking him down, the calling in of the sheriffs, the deputies rather, that you went in with the deputies and the Scourge to apprehend him, and that it was actually Blackjack and Maeve that led the assault essentially. With a little help from the Scourge. But when he does that, the crap, what was the Scourge's name? Travis. Travis actually speaks up and kind of demurs. They had him firmly pinned down. I merely poked him with the stick. He even mentions Jolene cutting off his escape route. There's less applause there. Not a whole lot less, but just enough that you notice.
She just kind of doesn't move her face or anything, but just eyeballs go over towards where the Scourge is standing. What the fuck?
And the prince is like, oh yes, clearly everyone in the coterie proved useful. So the city owes you a debt. Please, if there's ever some, moderate favor you would need, do not hesitate to ask.
Thank you kindly, my prince.
Sir Deshla, if I may.
Of course, Blackjack.
You get onto the...
Oh, excuse me, that was too much emotion. There's not a whole lot of emotion when Charles speaks.
Sure. I mean, you can't help that.
Yeah. Yes, Blackjack. What would you like?
I just like to say a few words on behalf of my coterie.
You have the floor.
Samuel just stands there, arms crossed. He's like,
I
well,
don't know this guy.
this is going to be interesting. He actually
My
stood
fellow,
up.
my fellow kindred. I've been doing this. I've been a kindred for a long time, born and raised here. And I just want to say, if there's one thing I appreciate about being in this area, it's that any one of us can step up and prove ourselves. Any one of us, whatever clan you're part of, whatever, if you're even part of a clan, wherever you may have come from, any of you can be in this position that we are in today. And it is an honor to be here with the prince, with my coterie in this company today. And I thank you all for having us here.
Jolene is physically trying to melt into the floor. Mentally trying to melt into the floor. Physically, she's just standing there like...
I'm actually trying to use my inspiration, my leadership inspiration.
Give me a roll to see how well this goes over.
Yes. What am I using? Charisma?
Let's see.
I'm not trying to manipulate anybody.
Oh boy.
Jolene, like,
Let's
already
go
being on thin
charisma
ice,
and
die.
charisma and leadership, I suppose. Let's see. Would it be leadership? Let me see.
I have 4 dots in it, and it's my thing too.
That's what he's good at.
Yeah, I'm just checking to make sure there's not a skill that would fall more into that. But no, you're trying to give an inspiring speech, so yeah, leadership.
Leadership, and it's because it's a specialty. What do I add anything to that?
What is your specialty? Oh, your specialty is inspiration. That is 1 extra dice.
Cool. Charisma. 1.
Out of 6 dice.
You know what?
You want to
I'm
willpower
gonna
that.
burn a willpower.
Well, let's see, it's 6 dice and 2 hunger dice.
Mhm.
So really, that was 8 dice.
4 successes.
Okay. So you get a fair amount of applause. Not many of the Toreador are applauding. The ones that do, it's just a very quick little golf clap and then they're done.
Thank you, my prince. Step.
And Charles tells you, well spoken. We are result oriented here in Huntsville. Anyone that proves themselves useful is welcome. And he even gives Jolene a nod.
She'll kind of give a little bit deeper nod of respect and just kind of go back to standing there trying not to melt to the floor.
Now,
Man, my real life anxiety for public speaking is flaring up now.
everyone is staring at you.
That secondhand embarrassment, man.
All these
Yeah.
imaginary people are staring at you.
I already did it, so it's fine.
The prince goes, now, on to the business before us, and gestures to the body that's literally laying before you.
Moving speech, body just splayed up.
Yeah. I mean, kindred.
Charybdis, if you would. As he says this, flanking where him and the lady have their seats. A couple of the Primogen are standing on either side, kind of flanking all of them. Suddenly coming into view where you had not seen them before are two kindred with almost stony-looking skin. Each of them with a large set of wings. Samuel, you have seen these two before. The rest of you, if you've been in town very long, you've probably heard of them.
What was their names?
Blackjack might have seen them.
I've been here my whole unlife, so probably.
Yeah. It's Scylla and Charybdis, or what they're known as.
Scylla. Okay. Charybdis and what?
Scylla, I believe it is.
Scilla.
Yeah, the names are from Greek mythology.
Yeah.
The whole rock and a hard place.
Yeah.
But it is two members of the Gargoyle bloodline. A bloodline artificially created by the Tremere centuries ago. Samuel would know that. Used as guards and slaves, and they got ungrateful and revolted. Is the Tremere take on it, at least? They have been working for Charles pretty much since he took the princedom, since he declared Praxis. Much like Nosferatu, they have they're both hideous and have the obfuscation discipline. So both of them fade into view, and the male of the duo, Charybdis, steps forward and pulls the stake out of the young man's body. He sits up kind of gasping. The prince... It gives him a moment to compose himself. Lee Timbrook, excuse me. Lee Timbrook. You stand accused of violating the masquerade. Of threatening to expose our existence to the kine. Of being within the confines of my domain without presenting yourself. And with poaching in a domain that was not your own. Lee has stood up off the table and is kind of facing the prince at this point. He doesn't seem to be in a complete panic. He's kind of got his head down. Given the circumstances of your embrace and your sire's complete failure to teach you anything before releasing him so close to our borders, we are going to show you some mercy. There is a caitiff population in the city. You will be handed over to them to be taught the traditions. Since you do not know your sire or your clan, Jolene.
She unbitchifies her face.
It's like she was scowling over Jeanette. Jolene! Yeah. Or maybe you were just scowling at him, yeah.
Just scowling in general, like, wait a damn minute here.
The thin blood and caitiff community in the city seems to look to you as something of a, let's see, not a leader. What would he call you?
Lucky bastard.
If anyone ever looks at Blackjack, he's just like has his hands flexed and just like,
Hopefully not in that stance.
not this stance, but just like has him balled up.
They look to you as a source of information, of wisdom, perhaps.
Go exactly that far, Prince, but we do tend to keep together, keep in communication.
I would appreciate it if you would get into contact with someone that would be willing to take this young man on, teach him our ways. I would consider it a favor, a minor favor, but
Of course, my friends, I'll be in contact with Mr. Sims, one of my fellow bloods, as soon as I can, and then I will be in contact with you.
you got very quiet all of a sudden.
She's probably like, shit. No,
I mean,
yeah,
that makes sense in character. So
yeah, she'd probably be like quieter. Like, this is probably the most demure any of them have ever seen her. She was pretty much
Now-
said, I'll get in contact with Mr. Sims and then I'll pass that information on.
Thank you. What we have discovered from speaking with Lee here, his sire would appear to have been one of the anarchs from Decatur. Lee's embrace did not go as it should. And so they dumped him out to the south of Huntsville. Undoubtedly with the intentions of distracting us while they pushed ahead in Decatur. It did not work out completely according to their plans, as he at first moved towards Arab. But then when the hunger overtook him, when a hunger frenzy overtook him, and he slew a kine, in fleeing he wound up heading north and into town. We know how the rest of that went. All he had been told was that he was clanless, and that any other kindred would kill him on sight. Which is why he avoided us why he was so virulently opposed to introducing himself, to meeting any of us. It explains other things we had been curious about. When Howard was attacked, despite Howard having clearly done damage, we had wondered why he had not fed on Howard. He simply didn't know that he could. His hunting style, such as it was, he would feed, and as many of us did, well, as many do, in their early days, he would kill in a feeding, feel great remorse for it, and then not feed until he was on the verge of frenzy again.
as they go through the sob story, Blackjack's hands kind of like they de-ball a little bit, and kind of like very subtly move.
You can play. You did your hands out like that, and then it froze.
So he's been like this the whole time, and then as they give the sob story, Blackjack's hands kind of like relax, and kind of like very subtly looks over towards Jolene.
She is looking dead ahead. She's not looking at anyone right now.
Now understand, Lee, that you were on probation. We will tolerate no other mistakes from you. You are, as they would say, on thin ice. But if there are no other incidents, and you live by my rules here in this city, you may dwell here. The caitiff will undoubtedly show you where it is they hunt. And he sort of bows and says, thank you, my prince. Clearly he's been coached a little bit on what he needs to say and do.
Damn, they have public defenders here?
It's all up to the prince, really.
Yeah.
Scylla, if you would. And Scylla comes forward and leads the young man out of the room. Apparently his time staked on the table was all the public embarrassment he had to have. As he would most likely have been conscious the whole time. And essentially he tells you that, at that point he says that pretty well concludes the business of the evening. And everything kind of switches back more into a party mode at that point. The Primogen break up and, mingle out among the crowd. The Deschlers are still sitting there and they're talking. And, occasionally somebody will come up with some minor bit of business or some, some favor to ask or some report to make. The Seneschal kind of intercepts to make sure it's worth the prince's time. So sometimes they get up to the prince, and sometimes whatever it is the Seneschal can take care of.
I give a very knowing look towards Samuel, and then just kind of walk off. Still kind of like being bodyguard to Jolene.
See, I'm smart. I can talk.
Mm-hmm.
So Samuel, what
Yes.
mingling are you going to do?
Let's see. Who would he want to mingle with? He's spoken with his Primogen. You said all of the Primogen are there right now?
All the Primogen are here. Even Grandmother Dorcas, who doesn't always show up for these sorts of things.
He actually will go and speak to Grandmother Dorcas.
She is almost skeletally thin. The clothing she wears are at least 2 sizes bigger than she should than she needs. You've heard it said that she basically wears the same size as she did when she lived, but
yeah.
She's very pale. I mean, even for a kindred. Covered in liver spots, essentially. Mm-hmm. Very bad skin. Her eyes are very small and very kind of sunken in. She has patchy wisps of hair. But she tends to wear like an old style bonnet. So that covers most of that. Like all Nosferatu, of course, she's hideous, but her hands do not end in actual claws, but they have a very with her nails are kind of sharp looking, and her hands have a very kind of claw look to them.
Mm-hmm. He's at some point imagining someone pissing this old grandma off. She suddenly has like level 5 potency, just.
That is kind of the Nosferatu's thing.
Yeah.
They don't have the fortitude of the Bruja. They don't take damage as well, but they can dish it out.
Yep.
And she's probably 5'3", but not hunched back exactly. But she's kind of hunched over.
Yeah.
Like you would imagine somebody with that name, you know, like you'd imagine a very old woman, particularly from the time period she's from.
Yeah.
And her skin is kind of wrinkled up, but whether that's actual age that she might have had before her embrace, or whether that's just part of the Nosferatu condition, you're not sure.
Yeah.
She greets you very warmly as you walk up, though. Ah, Doctor. It's very good to see you.
My lady, it is very nice to see you as well. I don't always see you at gatherings like this.
Well, I am not much of a socialite these nights, but with the business that was going on, I thought I would come, and I wanted a chance to speak with you about young Alexander to see how he was fitting in.
Well, no better time than now.
Oh, indeed. So how is Alexander? I hear he was useful.
He was quite useful, yes. I think I will enjoy having him as a member of my coterie.
Oh, I'm glad to hear it. He, poor dear, it's got to be rough being run off your land where you've lived for so long by the lupines like that. I would be concerned for him trying to fit into the big city life, you know, on his own, having so little experience with it. But I have no doubt that you'll steer him right.
Well, that is my intent. He has a good head on his shoulders and is learning quickly.
Oh, good. He had to live on his own for quite some time, so I thought he'd be of the temperament to fit in with you. Not that being a doctor and a veterinarian are exactly the same thing, but
well, nevertheless, he certainly has a specialty that we lacked before now. So, my thanks, my lady, for introducing him.
oh, take care of him, and we will consider it even.
That is the plan. I do my best to take care of my coterie.
Oh, you seem to be doing pretty well so far. I never thought that poor thin-blood girl would have lasted this long.
Yes, well, that one is it's a little bit of a challenge some days, but she's doing well for herself. I honestly didn't expect to see the day I'd see her overpower a full-blooded kindred.
Well, he was very young.
True. Still was surprising.
Is there anything she wants to tell you? As you're speaking to her, Theodore comes up and really kind of asks the same questions about, you know, how Alexander's doing.
Yeah, he'll pretty much say that Alexander's doing well. He fit in all right.
And he just speaks to you for a few minutes, and then turns to Grandmother Dorcas and, you know, mentions that he had some business he needed to be, you know, attend to, and basically waits for her permission to go ahead and split. Seems to be relieved to be out of there. You get the impression that while he composes himself well while he's here, that this is not his preferred environment.
Yeah.
Which is true of a lot of the Nosferatu. Let's see. What does the Brat Pack get up to, and who do they talk to?
Gonna say, actually,
Oh,
How did they react to my speech?
Oh dear.
there was some chuckling from them when you first got up to start.
Mm-hmm.
You're pretty sure you heard me. I go, "Oh, this is gonna be good." None of them looked
My
happy when
coterie,
you
so
were
it's
done.
fine.
Though. None of them looked happy when you were done. Though.
Good.
The Ventru that runs the coterie and the Malkavian both did the polite clap.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of them just kind of stood there and stared.
Okay.
Or sipped at their drinks.
That's all.
All of them looked like
all
they'd bitten
I
into
really
it.
cared
All of them looked like they'd bitten into a lemon, though.
Good.
Jolene, you again noticed the sheriff mean mugging you. It seems like one of the deputies is trying to keep him calm.
Is there like? There's the pictures that you posted showed like a porch area. Are we out on that porch area?
Once you can be if you want to. Once the prince basically went, that concludes the business. A lot of the party goers moved out onto there. There's still a few lingering around on the inside, but it kind of goes from the inside all the way out to that patio. The area they actually call the view.
She'll just
I think-
go. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think seeing her goes that way, Blackjack would probably try to like, not schmooze, but like try to like brouhaha bond with the sheriff.
Oh, so you're gonna approach the sheriff?
Yeah.
Okay. The Bruja in Huntsville do not have a Primogen member,
Correct. So I'm trying to stick with like the only other brouhaha in the room.
and the sheriff being the only like ranking member of any sort, he would
Right.
kind of be the default. Most of the Bruja in the city are his own brood at this point, with the exception of you.
Howdy.
Let me check.
It's interesting because I'm pretty sure he hates my guts.
Oh, that's right. He was Abram. He doesn't like. He definitely doesn't like the company you keep. He hasn't had a
I
whole
didn't
lot
like
to
the
do with
speech
you,
I
probably
did.
because of that. Actually,
yeah,
as you approach, hello, Blackjack.
howdy.
Was a fine speech you gave.
Appreciate it.
Not sure.
Like,
I realized to some degree you were probably speaking up the. Let's see, what's some of the things they call thin blood?
I mean, I can find it in the book. They have a lot of fun names for them.
They have a lot of fun names for most of the clans.
That's a blood thinner. That's not thin bloods. Wow.
Do what now?
I looked up thin blood nicknames and it started bringing up like names of different coagulants. Like that's not what I'm looking for. Thanks though.
Dustborn, Mercurians, Thin Bloods, Young Ones, Runoff, Weaklings, Chameleons, Abortion.
I think Duskborn is actually the Anarch's names for them.
Yeah, maybe.
Because that sounds too cool for that to be a Camarilla thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually fair, yeah. Anyway, he goes, I realize you were trying to talk up your mercurial friend, but in some ways I could see that applying to our clan as well. So
Yeah,
many of
well,
us turning traitor and abandoning the Camarilla.
Sometimes you gotta wonder. Maybe we have more in common than you think.
No, we don't.
If you say so. Different philosophies, I suppose.
I understand that she is your friend. But she is also a harbinger of the final nights. It's no fault of hers, I suppose. Her sire should be staked and left for the sun, though.
Maybe one day we'll find that person and we'll do it. You and me will do just that.
One day we may have to thin our ranks of the thin blood. We were doing it before, and we've avoided the worst of the Second Inquisition attacks, with the exception of the one Tremere attack.
Ah, see?
But we have come through that very well compared to many cities.
Except for the very useful, as you can see by Coterie, Tremere population.
We've also avoided the worst of the Gehenna War.
For now.
Yes, for now.
Probably doesn't have anything to do with thin bloods, and some people just need a scapegoat.
Let us hope you're right. That is something we will have to agree to disagree on. But I hope you're right.
Yeah. Yeah?
Understand, though, if I ever have to make a move against your friend, it is not a personal issue. It is merely what I feel needs to be done.
Sir, you make the move you think you need to make, and I will make the move I think I need to make.
Well, we have an understanding then. And he kind
Pleasure,
of
sir.
tips a glass to you.
No walk off.
So, who's babysitting Jolene right now?
I'd go back to babysitting her.
Maeve.
But
Okay, so Maeve and...
She's eventually just gonna be like, would you all just go
Because
do whatever
there's-
the hell you want to do?
Which is when Jeanette shows up
The
and beats
prince
her up.
told me to find. The prince told me to find the guy a new home. No one's gonna kill me before then. Maybe the next meeting.
Oh, just next time you by yourself.
Do you wander out onto
Yeah.
the view?
She's gonna find like a spot to keep her back against a wall.
Stick
Well,
to
if
the
you're out on the patio, there are no walls. There's this... you can't really call it a fence, but the guardrail, essentially,
If she ain't standing next to the guardrail, someone
around
push
the edge
her
of the
ass over
balcony.
that.
It's metal pillars with like panels of glass between it, so it doesn't break up the view. And it's, waist high or so. Maybe a little higher than waist high. Beautiful view of the city. You look out over the treetops, you can see the lights. It's a clear night. You can see, you can easily make out the Saturn V at the Space and Rocket Center.
She'll just find somewhere away from the groups and just be like, look, no one's gonna kill me before I take care of what the prince asked me to. It'll be fine. Go do things. Go do kindred stuff. Gone. Get.
Does Maeve get, or does her and Vincent just sit there?
Just sit there.
Oh, and you get
She got nowhere to go. She's not gonna walk up to the prince and be like, "What's up, bud?" She's not gonna do
Go
that.
take Vincent for a walk in the woods. I don't know.
Maybe he's got to pee.
Maybe.
I
She'll
knew
walk
he'd
to
say
the
that
trees.
if he had to.
She'll walk to the trees and just kind of stay around there. Just keeping an eye on Jolene.
So why not just have this thought of Vincent just like finding the guy who's like hiding out like on his own and just like peeing on him and then walking away?
As Maeve goes to leave, Blackjack walks in, takes her spot.
They're on a rotation.
Hey, I put you over with the chef.
sheriff would stake my ass here if I looked at somebody wrong. We both know that.
Ah, maybe he gets a little bit of doubt nowadays. Sometimes it's the things you don't see that affect you the most.
As y'all are sitting around talking,
Warmly.
well, you're talking to her, so you don't see it. Maeve might be paying more attention. You see Charybdis and Lee Timbrook approaching. Timbrook now has on a fresh shirt, so there's no like hole in the shirt.
She's gonna keep an eye on him. Just where she's at. Between him and Jolene.
What was Jolene's last name?
Hatcher.
Hatcher. As they approach, Charybdis speaks. He has a very deep, gravelly voice. Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah.
You said Hatcher or Thatcher?
Hatcher with
Hatcher.
an H.
Okay. I'll learn y'all's last names eventually.
He's all good.
Excuse me, Miss Hatcher. I believe I'm supposed to put this young buck in your under your care.
Tonight? Like already? Like now?
Well, it's only midnight. Well, it's probably more like 1 by now.
As the prince wills. Just kind of gives him a once-over.
Charybdis gives you a nod, turns to walk away, and he looks at the kid hard. Remember, you're on probation. Any screw up, and we'll have you staked and out in the sun.
Count yourself lucky you weren't reborn of thin blood, because they would have just done that to start.
Blackjack's just leaning his fist in his face like this, just kind of watching.
Lee's just standing there kind of awkwardly. You're the lady from the Target, aren't you?
Yeah.
Well, so I was right. You were watching me awfully close there.
Your senses are pretty dull for a kindred, then. Some of us still got heartbeats. Some of us still act like humans at night. So you gotta be aware of that stuff.
I'll keep that in mind. What's the thin blood thing mean?
God damn.
It came up several times. He's kind of got his hands in his pocket and is slouched.
Pretty much, the dirt on your shoe, the shit you step in, that's at least a step higher than they think some of the thin bloods are.
Oh, that sounds kind of
The
sucky.
gentleman I'm gonna be sending you to is a thin blood, and you best show him respect, or so help me, I will stake you, drag your body out into the sunshine, and watch it burn myself.
Would you burn then?
No. Another little gift of the thin bloods.
Well, that don't sound like a bad thing.
You'd think, but the whole thin blood thing kind of overrides any of the gifts of that.
Huh.
So,
As he's talking to you, he's making a visible effort not to look directly at Blackjack or Maeve.
you got somewhere to stay?
No, I was just, I just found a house for sale that I was hiding in, or I spent one day just in the trunk of a car.
God damn. Okay.
Some of the car might
Well,
be useful.
I ain't gonna ruin. God, I forgot his name already. Was it Eddie or Sammy?
It was your contact, wasn't it?
Eddie. I ain't gonna ruin Eddie's night by dumping you on him in the wee hours. So, we're gonna find you We're gonna stick you in a basement for the day. How about that? Tomorrow evening, we'll go visit Eddie. Get you squared away with someone that's gonna teach you how to not be a fuck up.
Okay.
Got another I got another shoulder charge in me just in case.
That won't be necessary.
Good.
You
Look,
ate
I was told
recently?
y'all people were going to kill me on sight because I don't belong to a clan or something.
I mean,
They just
I
had me
killed
running
her.
scared.
Yeah, well, if the prince hadn't asked for someone to be, if the prince hadn't wanted you brought back, I can assure you Blackjack and Maeve would have had quite a bit of fun probably killing you for some of the stunts you pulled on Archer.
Hey, I didn't know it belonged. I didn't know the area belonged to anybody. You know.
And that's what you're gonna learn.
We're usually not this forgiving. I'm a little surprised, if I'm honest, but I guess your side story worked. Good job.
Like I said, you're gonna thin blood.
That's true.
Can I have Samuel walk over during this?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Maybe with Alexander because he's been quiet.
Sure.
Oh yes, what has Alexander
will
been doing? As I forgot he was even back there.
He's really not.
He's doing all things. He's fourth wall.
Well, you know, it
Nosferatu
wasn't as
up.
hard last week because I could see him. This time I notice him when he moves.
Yeah, when he came up to the camera.
There we go.
We're gonna get him like
Permanent-
one of those like vests that has reflective stuff on.
So while this was going on, before Samuel
He's just
walks
fourth
up,
wall in the cloak of
what
shadows.
has Alexander been doing?
Alexander's probably been antisocial, like maybe seeming like he's wanted to mingle, but still kind of just stayed away. If he's talked to anyone, he might have gone to any Nosferatu sheriff or deputy just to gain a contact or
Okay.
another ally. But for the most part, he's pretty much been antisocial like
Okay.
most Nosferatu.
Grandmother Dorcas at some point has stepped over and asked you, child, how has it been?
He would have pretty much told her, everything is going all right. They seem to either like you endure, not sure which one they are of me just yet, but they seem to accept me. Yeah, even they was able to negotiate with Samuel a home or haven, as it were.
Oh, good. Dr. Samuel seems to be speaking pretty highly of you, so I think you've made a good first impression.
You'll see a little bit of a smile try to creep across his face, even though all you'll see is the wonderful overbite of teeth. But for the most part, he'll smile and kind of think about it like, I haven't seen him for a little bit, so if we have no other business, I'll happily go chat with him for a bit.
Of course. Do be sure to keep your ear to the ground and let me know if you hear anything of interest. Which is very typical Nosferatu kind of.
Oh yeah, no, of course, the second I can get some type of information network set up, I'll make sure to be sending you daily, weekly reports.
Very good then.
And thus we now lead us to the antics of Alexander and Samuel. A vet and a doctor, which one's going to do better?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
It's harder
I
to
just
be
got
a
here-
vet.
I got here just in time.
Yeah, how much of that conversation did they hear?
I'm going to assume he's probably still inside at that point. Because Grandmother Dorcas was inside.
Yeah.
It's whenever Samuel wants to say they walked out.
She'll just be like pointing, like getting like way in this guy's personal space, like finger, like almost point like on his chest.
Enjoying it while she can because he doesn't realize what thin blood means, so she can get by with it right now.
Small, angry Southern woman.
And
She can
he
get
is
by with a
apparently from Decatur, so he's from the area. So,
Yeah.
They all know what small, angry Southern women are.
And Samuel, you've had a few people walk up and chit chat. Marcy, the keeper of
Yeah.
Elysium, has walked up and said hello. Your buddy in the Ventru has probably come by and said something.
Or Yeah.
Nothing.
Exactly.
Nothing. Just chit chat, sort of. Hey, congratulations on
Yeah.
getting a boon and all that. Marcy, as a harpy, she part of her kind of unofficial duties is to keep up with the boons and so forth. So,
Yeah.
Why are you in mommy's way?
so as you start to wander out,
Mm-hmm.
I think
See, was Luke there?
listen, now was Luke was Luke the Ventrue you knew?
No, Tyler was the Ventrue, the first childer of Lady Deschler. And then there's Luke Barnes, who's the youngest of the sheriff's deputies.
Oh
And,
yes, that's right. That's right.
who
No, you
still
have
owes
not seen
Samuel
him.
a favor that he has not called on.
You have not seen him yet.
Okay,
I mean, it's safe to assume some of the deputies are probably on duty,
on duty.
working security perimeter.
I'll say-
Or-
He's gonna also make a note that if he does see Luke, he's at least gonna go greet him and thank him for his assistance, etc.
Okay. You might catch a sight of him by the end of the night.
But he is gonna head out just the time where he sees like stabbing with a finger happening.
Yeah, you see
Yeah.
Blackjack just chilling.
And you're a little surprised to see that by the time you get there, Lee is standing there and Charybdis is almost back to the door of the building.
He's gonna give Charybdis a nod as he passes.
And Charybdis goes, "Doctor."
Charybdis. And he'll continue on.
There's a slight tension anytime you've dealt with the gargoyles.
Yeah.
But that's because they have a history with Clan Tremere. They don't seem to have any personal problem with you.
Oh, God. Scully, stop with the nails, please.
No, Mom, I must nail.
I love you too, but please stop with the nails.
Wait, no, he'll just show up as like, well, you seem to be introducing yourself to our erstwhile, I'm not sure what to call you, actually.
I'm Lee.
Oh, no, I'm aware of your name.
Oh, you can just call me that.
Lucky bastard.
What did I do to you? I mean, the trespass thing, but I just didn't know.
Yes.
You ain't been a part of this too long enough to understand the mercy you've been given.
Precisely.
I kind of figured they were going to kill me, so. I mean, I'm pretty
Yeah, me
grateful
too.
for it.
Here's the thing. There's a lot of things about our existence that you need to learn. So, as the ancilla of the coterie that you poached from,
He literally
Yes.
raises his hand like he's in high school. What's an ancilla? Does that just mean you're the boss of the coterie, or?
He's the
No.
eldest.
you know the prince and the primogens, the ones who gave you mercy.
Yes, I know they're the ones in charge.
We're the same age.
Oh, okay. They covered that age means something, Okay, I think I got you.
Age brings power. Think on that for a moment. But first, I want to be very clear with you. You poached in the lands that me and my coterie hold.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
That is an offense that is not lightly forgotten.
That mean you gonna be gunning for me?
That depends. What you must do is whomever Jolene gives you to, whoever they assign you to as your mentor, you will listen to them. You will absorb everything they have to teach you. You will learn, you will adapt, and you will correct the mistakes you made. If you do not, Do you remember how hungry you got between your frenzies?
Yeah, that was bad.
I can do that to you by force. At will.
He actually takes like a half step back from you.
So long as you do these things, so long as you maintain the masquerade, so long as you keep to the little domain that the prince gives you, I won't have to do that.
No, hey man.
Am I clear?
Crystal. All I want to do is survive. That's all. It's been my motivation since the night I got bit.
And he'll straighten back up as he stares down at the man. It's like, good. Learn to temper that survival instinct with common sense next time, and we won't have any problems.
Yeah, I will.
Well then. A pleasant smile as he offers a hand.
Kind of hesitantly reaches out and shakes your hand.
And he'll shake the hand, and he'll let it drop. Then, welcome to the city, Lee.
Thanks. I hope I survive the experience.
I'll tell you what. So long as you prove that you are learning, that you adapt, and you grow in your knowledge, I will be willing to use some talents of mine to see if I can help you find your sire.
Is that something I want?
Perhaps. Is it something you wish?
I mean,
It might be knowledge that you're missing.
they just dropped me off between towns.
There's a lot of them.
There's a lot of things that I know how to do.
Well, sure then. I mean, and he kind of looks at everybody. You know, I would much rather be friends with y'all than than have beef. I mean, I'm awful sorry about the poaching thing. I did not know those rules at all.
I would have been more forgiving if you had just taken a sip and sealed the wound.
I didn't know. Nobody told me how to do that. They've explained it now.
Good.
And, I was trying not to hurt anybody, and then I'd just completely lose control, which made me scared to try it again. Then
That is what
I'd get
friends
starving.
does. You must learn to balance your hunger and your remorse. You get as old as I have, it becomes very easy.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to practice that. Oh, crap, though. If I'm here in town, the police are looking for me, aren't they?
I'm sure the prince has that under control.
Still, maybe I could always fix my face. And as you watch, he literally puts his fingers to his face and starts molding it like it's clay. It's, even by y'all standards, this is kind of freaky looking.
Wait.
Obfuscation.
We lost a Deca from a moment.
Deca. Yeah, we lost Deca.
Yeah, he's
Oh.
frozen.
Deca, can you hear us over the Discord?
No, he dropped from Discord.
He
Oh,
dropped
okay.
from
Yeah.
Discord.
Oh, well.
No!
I'm sure he'll be back if he can.
Undoubtedly, but we're about to wrap up anyway. But.
Yeah.
So as he reaches in and starts like massaging massaging his skin and actually changing features, Samuel, you're older. You may have heard of such a thing. You actually hear gasps out of some of the rest of the crowd. And you hear the word Zamis, which you recognize. The rest of your party, or the rest of the coterie, may not.
Me as the player, how damn rare is that?
In... Oop, he's dropped out now. Now we look all funny.
I mean, we looked funny before, but
Yeah.
Ah, well.
the last 5 minutes were good.
Oh god,
In-
that is very weird.
Yeah. Because everything's size wrong, so we're
Yeah.
missing one of the squares. Anyway,
I'm okay.
to quickly wrap up, Zamis are pretty rare in this area. Now, the Sabbat controlled Atlanta for a long while. They may still control Atlanta. I'll have to check. The Camarilla just recently took Birmingham back from them.
Yeah.
Ooh, excuse me.
But yeah, the kid,
Hey.
he catches that everybody's freaking out that he's doing it, and he kind of pulls his fingers out and kind of flattens this, straightens the skin back out. But yes, you hear the entire party starts talking about Zamis at that point. What, I thought we could all do freaky stuff.
Yes, we can, but someone of your bloodline is rare.
Is that good or bad?
You're gonna be well looked after, probably. And she walks off.
A few of those voices start talking about the fiends. And,
My brain is a player sitting there going, damn it.
and we will wrap here as
Yep.
he makes this last little splash at the party. So when we start up next week,
Made it back in time for the conclusion.
was planning on a slight time jump. Probably what we'll do is we'll start off with Jolene dropping this kid off somewhere and cover that. And then we'll have about a week time jump or so, week or two. So be thinking of some ideals of what your character would do kind of in a typical week to kind of fill that space.
I'm nodding, but you can't see it anymore because I'm not on Zoom anymore.
Yeah, well. We're wrapping up,
What's
so it's
that?
not really worth the time to let you
Yeah,
back
yeah,
in.
no,
Sorry.
you're good.
But anyway, hope y'all had a good time. I certainly enjoyed running it. I hope anybody watching at home enjoyed it. I know was it Vancouver by Night that was?
Shout out to Vancouver by Night for hosting us.
Yes, we deeply appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
And
Thanks, everybody.
we'll be back next week. So, I guess I should go into the other shows. Tomorrow should be Monster of the Week with our GMV, and that me and Decker are in. Thursday should be Descend into Avernus, and I forget who all's in that one.
I'm in it.
I'm not, so it's not important.
That's fair.
Back on Monday with the escorts, and then we'll all be back Tuesday for some more Valley by Night. And we will see y'all then.
Bye.
See
Credits.
ya.